not only just a struggle to get where I'm at now, but how to paint a certain way, how to, you know, strive to get better, to do this and that, and that's just the painting part. And then on the side, it's working shit jobs and like ruined relationships, you know, that you put art first before everything. No money, shitty cars, it's just a lifestyle of just sacrifice everything to get where you want to be in your art. I'm Shay Davis, the one and only. I'm Shay Davis, born and raised in Denver, Colorado. Now I live in San Diego. I call this place home. I love it out here. 35 years old. Athlete, artist, shaman maybe. Who knows? Definitely have some like weird thoughts. I fit in, but I don't. But probably everyone is like that, you know?
Even as a little boy, he never ceased to amaze me. He would spend a whole afternoon playing in the mud with bugs and beetles, and then the next day he'd be riding his bike wearing a Batman cape, cowboy boots, and a Star Wars stormtrooper's mask. Shay was in kindergarten when he began drawing superheroes. Figures of all kinds of bad guys and good guys and battlefields and superheroes, and this took place when he was in kindergarten. So I remember back that it was when he was about 5 years old.
I first started drawing when I was about, as young as I can remember, probably around 5, 6. I can remember doing little characters of this guy called Spectre Man. You can find him online now, but it was like this cartoon character, kind of a comic, but he was kind of like, he fought Godzilla and he did all this kind of stuff. He was like one of the first guys. He grew into this monster from being like this man, and he became this big golden monster who, you know, kicked everyone's ass. And I used to draw him all the time. My athletic career was basketball and football. Swimming were the main thing, and I've been doing that since I was 6 until college, and then it just became football. I guess growing up I was a lover of both. Just like we go back to the competition part, and that competition drove me to be the best I could be, and I just loved like running down the field, catching a pass, going for a touchdown. It's just like, it's like a drug. I really started to get success once I was in high school. I started to become on, you know, newspapers all the time, and All-American in football, honorable mention All-American in basketball. I led the state in scoring in basketball my senior year, was co-players of the year with Chauncey Billups, who now is a big NBA player, and we won the state championship. I got a full ride scholarship to CU in Boulder, Colorado, where we were, the years I was there, we were number 3 in the nation twice. My father wanted me to be definitely athletic because that's all he pretty much knew. He didn't know any arts. I'm the only one in my family that's done any art whatsoever. My mom has always kind of looked up people maybe who have done other artistic things, and I'm the only one, so it was kind of the only thing that, you know, we have ever done is sports.
Thank you, Gary. Shay Davis, you have been involved in so many playoffs as a football player and a basketball player. Now you get the championship. Is it everything you thought it would be? Yeah, it is. It hasn't quite hit me yet, but I know it will by the end of the night. Let's see. First sophomore, I went to the Final Four in football, lost to Longmont, then again in junior, and again lost to the state championship to Wheat Ridge. And this year, before the year, I said in that article in the paper, I just wanted one state title, and I got it, so I'm pretty happy. So. I noticed you share an emotional moment with Kobe's mom out there, and we all know that your mom was out there and Mrs. Cheney was out there, and 10 years or 12 years ago now, your dad won a championship with Green Mountain. How much was he on your mind tonight?
A lot, because this is the game I wanted to have for him. So
dedicated to your late father.
Yeah, that's what I wanted last year, but at least I got it this year, so that's what I wanted to do.
Shay and his dad were very close. Shay's dad was a wonderful, wonderful father. Even my mother had said at one time that she had never known in her whole life a dad who loved his little boys as much as Shay's dad loved Shay and Van. So I think the attention and the time and the love that Shay received from his father was something that he really missed after Paul was gone.
I can remember like drawing with my dad before he passed away, and just vividly remember, you know, having him really liking that I could draw and paint and stuff, and that just kind of elevated throughout the years to where all the sports and all the accolades I got, just in my heart, I kind of now look back and realize that like my main passion was art. And I think he'd be proud. I changed my focus from athletics to art subconsciously when I was younger, but literally when I was unable to play anymore and I was afraid kind of to keep playing the sports I grew up with. I love like football, basketball, because you never know when some random guy's going to undercut you and you break your back or your hand, and then boom, I may never be able to paint again. And that's like right now the most important thing.
I met Shay a couple years ago. It's about two and a half years ago. We just connected on a personal level, on an artistic level, and we just started a relationship of showing his work up here. And I gave him his featured show in May of 2009, where he had a full wall in the front of the gallery. The type of art that I focus on, which is kind of founded and started in LA and in Southern California, is the pop surrealist lowbrow scene.
The underground scene started showing everything, everybody, and we realized that the graffiti artists and the illustrators, they had a voice. You know, like the graffiti artists are now like the new surrealists, you know. So all of a sudden these artists were selling on the underground without any advertising dollars or any gallery support, selling artwork every month. The gallery started paying attention to that.
The movement began as a rebellion against abstract art and intellectual art. It was art that really connected with people emotionally. And that still is what differentiates it. Plus, of all the art movements to recycle, they chose surrealism. So it's the combination of the eclectic nature of the artists who find their way here, the interest in surrealism, plus the fact that this art is emotional, primarily, is what differentiates it from the rest of the world.
Shay's work is I would call it cross-platform. I mean, he fits really well into the pop surrealist scene, because it works off classic surrealism, but it also is dealing with contemporary issues and contemporary pop iconography.
Right now I'm doing a series on the 7 deadly sins, and which has been done over and over again by other artists, but not in a way that I'm doing it. I think I'm putting a whole different meaning towards it, where a lot of other artists have done it. There's like one figure that's fat in gluttony, and there's one, you know, figure that's, you know, real hot in, you know, vanity or whatever. And I guess I've done greed and pride, and this is gluttony. And I've done a couple small ones. I've done a small gluttony one, which is a bunch of walruses that are feeding frenzy after, you know, this fruit flying in the air, and they're kind of killing each other. And This one, as you can see, as I said about the gluttony, it's you know, the story behind it is kind of where it's kind of the futuristic of gluttony, where there's all these people, there's strippers and girls from the 50s, but it's really 2020, and everyone's eating and drinking beer and wine and stuff that I always think is gluttony, is just not food and being fat. But you know, there's beautiful people who are gluttons, you know, who smoke 2 packs a day and, you know, drink like crazy and just, you know, fall over, you know, themselves every day, and but they can still, it doesn't mean they're just big fat slobs that don't move. With lust, I decided to just kind of go with how I look at lust. Beautiful women, big breasts, gorgeous flowing hair, enticing men, and here at the bottom I have this guy, and he's kind of just like coming out of this like abyss, and his head just is exploding with women coming out, and just kind of what men go through, and it can drive you nuts. And you know, it's something that we have as a, you know, as a innate thing of our being, to be that kind of, you know, be animalistic, but to go overboard is just, you know, that's where I think the sin would come in. And in today's day and age, definitely overboard. I mean, it's nothing but billboards with just nudity, porn, all that stuff, just like, it's nuts, and it's all over the place, and it's just, and that's where I think this whole, you know, idea for my painting came through, is just to kind of show you that it's, you know, there can be way too much, and it can, you know, desensitize a man, and that's what lust is all about, and this painting is all about that.
I first met Shay right after I graduated from college at Colorado State, and I remember I was hostessing with a girl who was probably about 3 years younger than me, and Shay walked in with some patent light blue, baby blue shoes, and I kind of nudged the girl next to me and I said, "Who is that?" And she looked at me and she goes, "Oh girl, don't even go there. You are not even going there." She goes, "That is Shay. He valets out front, and he's in here with some Nuggets cheerleader, Broncos cheerleader every other week. This is don't even go there." And I go, "Oh, is that right? Is that right? Yeah, well, he's gonna be my boyfriend." When he first started painting, he was painting in a really janky ghetto garage in the back of one of his buddy's house. And no insulation in this thing. I mean, seriously, freezing and not fun. But I was so Twitter-pated with this guy, and I also love to paint, that I was like, this is our opportunity to have fun. So multiple days on end, we'd set up our easels back to back. He would have his easel, I would have mine, and we would paint together and listen to Coldplay and Radiohead and just get down in this dingy garage and just talk about our dreams. And we started planning events. And the first show we really planned, big show, was at the Clock Tower in Denver. And the night of the show, the elevator broke. And it was devastating for Shay and I. It was just devastating. And well, the very next day, I think God answered our prayers and brought us this opportunity for the keg. That's what really lit the fire under it all. And we put the venue together in one day. It was Lambo, BMW, Lambo, Audi. I mean, just people coming to support from the athletic world, coming from the art world, coming from the direct mail pieces, coming from all the hard work, all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the people who grieved with us on the night that the Clock Tower failed. The night of the keg, he sold about $12,000 worth of artwork that night. And it was monumental for us. And I remember after the show, we went to his beat up shit ass truck and crawled in, and he just started bawling, and I did too, because it was months of hard work and it was his biggest moment. I mean, he had finally felt like he arrived. It became not Denver, but how can we expand it out? And that's where San Diego, the thought, came into play.
I came out to California for a couple of reasons. One was to get away from the cold weather and surf, enjoy this you know, California lifestyle. The beautiful weather, the women, the bikinis, sandy beaches, amazing. And then the second was obviously the art. Greed is about our society being so greedy, and it's everybody, that it's like the symbolism is a gold rush, but it's like futuristic kind of now, or it could be even down the road. But it deals with everyone being so greedy that there's this serpent that was kind of symbolism of the devil, and he's holding this apple in the forefront of the whole painting, and he's about to draw and like strike at all these figures coming in at him, because he's at the point now where like, you guys have enough gold, you're so greedy and you want more of this just greed. And he's just like, instead of giving the apple away like he used to in Genesis, now he is holding it back, and he wants it for himself because he's like, these guys are insane. Greed took about 8 months painting on and off, you know, week here, take some time off, you know, week there.
I can't remember exactly where I met Shay. I just remember when I saw his work, I was blown away, and I just had to work with him. When I looked at his work, it reminded me of Dali, and I seen his Dali influences, but then at the same time, I also saw this modern take on it. And at the same time, I was also looking at an artist that was too talented for the underground. It's like he should be in galleries.
When I first saw Shay's work, I saw the influences of Cubism and, of course, Surrealism, Salvador Dali being one of the biggest influences. I think his style has morphed a bit, and I definitely think he fits right into the pop Surrealism movement. He's incredibly talented, incredibly detailed, which is what I'm drawn to about his work. We also have a huge audience that's attracted to Shay's work. He puts a lot of symbolism into his work, which many pop surrealists do as well. His pieces are colorful, they're thought-provoking. Really, I just love everything about his work. And of course, he uses a little tiny detailed brush, which is my absolute favorite, when it comes to a painter.
Yeah, I think his work has grown more into like just Shay, just like Shay just speaking louder. I'm me, and then it doesn't show much of his other influences he had in the past. So what I'm saying is he's coming more into his own.
I think my style has progressed hugely over time because I've decided to really put more into my work. More patience, more detail. The competitiveness has become stronger in me to really make good work. Instead of just art, I want to make good art. And no matter what it takes to make the best art I can make. Whereas before it was just doing art. Where now it's like I want to do stuff that's going to, blow people away.
The graveyard's full, we're running out of earth, but we can use the bones to build another church. Thick walls made of men whose souls have come and went. So what's that magic number of how many men can live before our precious mother can no longer give? I don't want your answers, I'm content with how much we can
what's in this painting is, it's pretty much a whole crowd of just crazy fans, animals, you know, which most fans are animals. And then there's like a whole team here of guys who are just sitting down, completely oblivious, could care less about playing. One dude's sleeping, you know, on their cell phones, which is like totally symbolism for like art today, you know. This guy's just like bored out of his mind. And then, but around all of this, there's this underlying meaning where all around is just kind of decay, where you have a decay of the stadium, you have a decay of, you know, people here of just their lives, and then back here, I'm gonna have like this whole city kind of decay.
So the collectors and the galleries have figured out who are the illustrators and who are the simple artists. So I think the galleries and the collectors are going to expect the artist to paint harder, stronger, more dynamic. They're going to expect more art. They're going to expect more time out of the art. So what's going to happen is it's going to flush out a lot of the people that isn't career-minded. And those people that are career-minded is going to step it up. And what we're going to see in the next, I'll say, give it another 2 years, you're going to see some amazing, strong paintings. And I'm watching the shift. And I think that's my job as a gallerist.
I'll be the first to tell you, I love abstract art. I love modernism. I love people who come up with new ideas to represent themselves and maybe, you know, express themselves. But when you get to this point where everyone's an artist and everything's art and people can throw on any price, just throw some art or paint on the canvas, call it art, it's bullshit. And it's caused the whole art movement to slow down, and in a big roundabout way, less respect for artists that are true artists who really make a craft out of it. And I think it's a terrible, terrible thing that's happened in the art world.
Enough good painters have emerged in the last 4 years that it's gotten extremely competitive. It used to be that if you could paint in a kind of cartoony style, you could give like the thing was to have a cute little bunny rabbit and put a knife in their hand and a little blood somewhere, and then it would be cool and edgy. And you can't do that anymore. Now there are painters like Shay and painters who are extraordinary, who are selling quite well, and it's very competitive. So you can't be an amateur about it. You really have to have a passion for it. It's not for everybody.
The first painting I sold, when I decided that I could actually make a living at it, was this lady. She was like this older woman in her 40s, and I was in my early 20s, just out of college, and she commissioned me to do this painting, and I gave her a price, and she was like, okay, and it was like $1,200 for a pretty good size painting, and brought the painting up, and she kind of sets me down and starts, you know, feeding me wine, gives me some food, and, you know, this and that, starts talking to me here and there. She just out of nowhere gets up, drops her drawers, just butt naked, ready to just go to town. And I'm just like, I'm not attracted to you, you know? I'm like, damn, you know, this girl just gets butt naked, and she's just like, let's go get it on. And I'm like, nah, I'm not attracted to you, you know? I'm young 20s, you're old, you know, 40s, and it was such an awkward situation because there's painting sitting there, she's bought it, and now she's naked in front of me, and I'm like not going for it, and she wouldn't let me leave, and I was just like, I can't leave because I don't, you know, so I'm like, am I gonna get raped here, you know? And sure enough, finally she goes to the bathroom, she's drunk, and I just hop out and just kind of hop into my car and take off, and that was my first sale. Envy, I just have, it's a little different than the other ones. It's more, I know it goes deeper, I guess, but not too serious. It's got kind of all these figures of, like army figures, you know, toys, and that just kind of represents, you know, all these countries envious of other ones and in the war and things like that. And then you have this woman who she's kind of just showing off her nipple, envious that she's not getting the attention that a lot of women think they get, you know, out here in the West. And, you know, I threw this kind of Mayan thing into that with just how things, you know, are almost at an end and everyone's just running around trying to, you know, figure things out, yet everyone still is just envious of everyone else and what, you know, people are doing, and, you know, countries and women and men and, you know, who has what and this and that. And that's what envy's about. Pride is saying that we, you know, it's not about we, it's about the big wigs. Pride is the big wigs, the prideful people who are in the stock market or the banks and this and that, who have all this power and they think they're untouchable. And I just threw a bunch of lions, a pride of lions, obviously, into the painting to just devour them, to show them that they're not as big as they think they are. And that's kind of that was that whole painting. With Vengeance, I basically had thought about this a long time ago, and it took me to the last painting to do it, but it's basically me as a self-portrait being a suicide bomber, and just kind of like in your face showing that, you know, all this stuff going on with the different fightings of religion and all the bombings that, you know, these crazy, you know, fanatics are doing is a sin. And, you know, they think it's godly, but it's a sin. And, you know, killing innocent people is godly, it's ridiculous. And, you know, so I'm kind of showing that in the painting is, it's, you know, it's a sin. So it's just this martyrism of me being the suicide bomber. And it's just, that's it, right in your face. And just, that's vengeance. You know, we're, you know, mad that they're doing this. And for me to go back and do something similar is vengeance. And that's the sin of it, is to rebel in violence is the sin.
Every painting Shay does is better than the one before. His talent has always been there, but every time I see a new piece, it's getting better and better. He's continually evolving. I think if he continues at this pace, you know, in 10 years, he's certainly going to be one of the most respected artists of our time, and also of the pop surrealist movement. I see Shay going on to doing many bigger shows, bigger than our gallery, certainly in New York, and also museum shows as well.
I mean, museums would be the ideal at this point. I mean, because he does museum style work. I mean, it's epic. It's the kind of work that anyone can appreciate, whether you know about art or you don't.
I see that he has the potential of being world famous, yeah. And maybe on the top, I don't know, artists, I don't know how many that are like that good, but on the top artists of the world in that genre, he can reach to the very top.
I'm most proud that Shay has pursued his dream. He's always wanted to be an artist, and he has pursued that dream, and it's his passion, and he loves to paint, and I'm very proud of him in that respect.
This is Shay at the Oceanside Museum for my art show, my first museum show of my life, and it's fun. And I'm excited to be here, and look behind, we got a packed house, very cool. Great vibe. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first museum show. It's insane.
I like my sensations. I like what happens to my body when I take a fine wine and down it. But then what's the difference between my body and the wine? I say I like the wine.